And thank you, Las Corla, and welcome back, Minister. And look forward to working with you again this year. And I also want to acknowledge the children sitting here in the gallery at 10:30. You are very welcome, because this morning's session is in relation to children and youth affairs, so it's great to have their presence. Minister, I find myself asking a repeated question, and it's a September question, to ask you in relation to the status of the rollout of the Affordable Childcare Scheme, and if you will make a statement on it.
Thank you, Deputy, and great to be back and working with you too, and welcome, children. My department is working hard to develop the new National Affordable Childcare Scheme, and I am pleased to say that we are making good progress. The scheme will establish and provide financial support for parents. It will provide also a sustainable platform for investment in the childcare sector for generations to come. Deputies will be aware that legislation establishing the new Affordable Childcare Scheme, the Childcare Support Act of 2018, was enacted before the summer recess. This will be underpinned by detailed secondary legislation and formal policy guidelines, both of which are currently in development, along with the regulations to provide for the registration of school-aged childcare services by TUSLA. These regulations will be introduced in advance of the Affordable Childcare Scheme to allow school-age childcare services to register and thereby participate in the scheme from the outset. Following a full open tender public procurement process, the contract for the development of the scheme's ICT system has been awarded. Now that a contractor is in place, my officials are finalizing a detailed project plan, and I will shortly confirm and communicate our plans for the launch of the Affordable Childcare Scheme to government and more widely. Work is also progressing on several other fronts, including the preparation of timely and user-friendly information, resources and supports for parents, providers and other stakeholders. And alongside of this, I am committed to ongoing consultation and engagement with all stakeholders in the run-up to the introduction of the scheme. Finally, the interim measures which I introduced last September to fast-track some of the benefits of the Affordable Childcare Scheme have already supported more than 84,000 children and will remain in place until the new scheme goes live. We are turning Ireland's childcare system from one of the most expensive in the world into one of the best, and it's a massive challenge, but I'm delighted to say that we're well on the way to delivering the childcare supports that Irish families need and deserve.
Deputy Rabbitte for supplementary.
Thank you very much, Minister, and I welcome what you're after telling us there this morning. I suppose it is regrettable that the ICT system has taken so long, but I do welcome your announcement that the tender it has been appointed. What I would like to know from you this morning is the timeline. Do you see us now having the Affordable Childcare ICT system in place for this time next year? Will it be up and running? And will the families who might have missed out, who are actually currently missing out, I think yourself and myself have this conversation all of the time in relation to the 9,000 families that possibly don't make it due to the fact that they're so close to the 47,500 of an income, that will other families not be in that position this time next year if the ICT system is in place? I'd like you to explain the secondary legislation that needs to go in place in order to secure the rollout of the Affordable Childcare Scheme and how we can work with you on that.
1 minute.
Just first in terms of, I suppose, the question in relation to the delay in light of the ICT system, and it is regrettable, of course, at one level. On the other hand, as I've said before, it's really absolutely important to get this right, because it's going to provide a sustainable platform for generations of families to come. And it is probably one of the most ambitious ICT projects that the government is currently undertaking, and I know will provide a model for future approaches to new ICT platforms, including, let's say, for example, the one that my colleague in social protection is anticipating in terms of pension reform. So it's really important that we get that right. Secondly, even with the fact that it's taking longer than we anticipated, as you are aware, we fast-tracked a number of measures that are moving in place, from this September on, where families are actually receiving more money. And you refer to the possibility of 9,000 families that may not be included, given the fact that we aren't into the absolute affordable childcare scheme. That was an estimate at the time. We don't expect that it is as high as that, but we do know that there are huge numbers of families and children that are receiving substantially more monies as of from this September.
Your Rabbitte, final supplementary.
Thank you very much, Corla. Minister, my final supplementary that I would like to know is that with the Affordable Childcare Scheme, and it would have been something I would have flagged with you earlier on this summer, where we have children that are currently availing of the ECCE in the normal settings but need to attend special care units as well, can you see us being allowed to administer services to both? So if you have a child with Down syndrome, can they attend the special needs unit in the morning, and will they be able to attend an affordable childcare sitting maybe in the afternoon or later on that day, so as they have proper full integration? It's something that has come up a lot for me during this summer, and I've one particular creche, believe it or not, in Minister Moran's constituency in Grovelands, where there's 4 children attending a particular setting, and I'm just wanting to know how we're going to integrate children with disabilities. Thank you.
1 minute.
Deputy, and I think that is a really important question, and it's, I'm sure it influences and impacts many other children than within as well as outside of your constituency. And I would say 2 things, I suppose. As you are fully aware, the 3 primary objectives of this radical new approach to childcare have to do with, and our ambition is that it would be accessible, affordable and high quality. It's the accessible aspect that you're speaking about now. And as you are also aware, we have invested hugely in relation to measures within early childcare settings in light of the AIM program that supports the children to actually participate in what are now mainstream. The specific issue that you refer to it's really important. If my officials aren't already looking at that, I will ask them to look at it again. We have time to plan for that, and given that it is so important, the accessibility aspect of our objectives, I'm certain that we can find ways to ensure that it is accommodated.